Jack Tobin. Have you heard of him? I haven't until I went to Baseball Reference. I looked up baseball players with career batting averages over 300. His name came up. 309 career batting average. Ken Arzone here, Vista, California. I'm looking at Friday, July the 11th, 2025. You may ask the question, why am I covering Jack Tobin? I'm interested in baseball players of the past who had potential, but their career fell short. Jack Tobin's one of them. Let me point out some things of this guy you may not be aware of, and I was not aware of myself. Played from 1914 through 1927, 13 years. But if you look closely, some of the years were not full. If you want to look at this guy's career, it's about 11 to 11 and a half full seasons. And you know what he did? He got 1,906 hits and over 11 and a half seasons. Very good ratio of hits per game played. Let's look at it. 1914, he comes up, 139 games, 143 hits. That's 270. Slow start. 1915, breaks out, 158 games. That's 1915. I thought they played 154. What were those extra 4 games? Were there ties? Was there a playoff? Anyways, it says 158 games. 625 at bats. He gets 184 hits in his second year. Bats 294. Third year, 1916, 77 games. This is one of the seasons where he didn't play full. 32 hits, that's 213. Okay, so the first 3 years, the only thing to look at is that 184 hit season. 1917 is World War I, raging. So there's no record of him playing 1917. He may have served in the military. 1918 comes back, 133 hits, 277. So nothing to look at in 4 seasons. 1919, 159 hits, that's 327. All right, so he gets his first 300 hit season. Okay, 5 years playing baseball, nothing spectacular. But then all of a sudden, Jack Tobin breaks out. What do I mean? 1920, 28 years old, okay, in his prime. 94 runs scored. He gets 202 hits. You have to take note. Any guy who gets 200 hits in a season, you got to look at him. He bats 341. So second season, 300 or better. And it's back-to-back 300 plus. Okay. So you may ask the question, all right, he's got an oddity. Is that a right word? Oddity? He's got something particular that came out. He got 202 hits. The following year, 1921, will be his best. He gets 150 games, 132 runs scored. Whoa! 236 hits. Whoa! What does that mean? That's top 20. I think it's top 15 as far as hits in a season. 236. That's 352. Gets 327 total bases. So he goes 4 for 5 in the categories I like. He only had 59 RBIs. If he had gotten 100 RBIs, that would have been 5 for 5. What do I mean? 100 runs scored, 200 hits, 100 RBIs, 300 better batting average, 300 total bases. So he went 4 out of the 5. Well, he had 59 RBIs. This guy was not an RBI producer. He was not a home run hitter either. So nothing to look at there. But what I'm looking at is the hits in a season and the batting average. So he's got 2 years in a row, 200. 1922, he comes back. Doesn't play the full season, 146 games, but he gets 122 runs scored, back-to-back 100, and he goes 207 in hits. 3 years in a row, 200 hits. Bats 331. 1923, he's 31 years old. 151 games, good. 91 runs scored. He gets 202 hits. This is what stirred my curiosity about this guy. He just went 4 seasons in a row, 200 hits. Not bad. In fact, I asked the question, how many guys in baseball history have 4 or more 200 hit seasons? Did you know there's just a select few? But did you know this? Ty Cobb never had 4 200 hit seasons in a row. He had a lot of 200 hit seasons. Never had 4 in a row. Neither did Lou Gehrig. Did you know Lou Gehrig had 8 200 hit seasons, but he never had 4 in a row? Tony Gwynn never had 4 200 hit seasons in a row. Yet this guy, Jack Tobin, out of nowhere, gets 4 straight 200 hit seasons. That, to me, is significant. This guy, pretty good hitter. Bats 317, 1923. So listen to the last 5 years. 327, 341, 352, 331, and 317. That's good. If a guy can do it consistently 5 seasons in a row, you got to take note, right? Now, how about 4 seasons in a row, 200 hits? So what does he do in 1924? Plays a lot, gets 170 hits. So his string is broken. He bats 299. Oh, whoa. 1925, misses half the season. It's too bad, because he was on a roll. But he bats 301 in 1925 with 58 hits, but it was only 77 games. 1926, bats 264, and then 1927, his last season, finishes 116 hits, 310. So let's look at his career. He's got 1,619 games. 936 runs scored, 6,000 at bats, so that's a good amount, right? 6,000. Did not score 1,000 runs, fell short there. But he got the 1,906 career hits, and like I said before, took about 11 and a half years of playing to do it. Very good ratio. I always ask the question, what if? So 11 and a half years. Let's say this guy had 20 solid seasons. If he had done that, his projection of hits would have been over 3,000. That's the kind of hitter this guy was. 1,900 hits in 11 and a half years. So add 9 more years. He's over 3,000 hits. Did you know that about Jack Tobin? I didn't know that. But he didn't do it. He fell short. He ends up with a 309 career batting average, 2,500 total bases. Not a home run guy and not an RBI producer, and his runs scored fell short. He stopped playing at age 35. So Jack Tobin in baseball history had a nice 4-year stretch of 200 hits in a season. Not many players have accomplished that feat. It's too bad that his career wasn't longer. And if you can be more consistent, I'll grant the idea. I'll grant you this idea. Baseball is a tough game. And in order to do something consistently for 20 to 22 years or 24 years, you got to be really, really good. How about Pete Rose, 24 years, passes 4,200 hits? How about Ty Cobb, 24 years, he passes 4,000 hits? Some of these other guys who go over 20 years in their career and they maintain excellence. Jack Tobin is an example of a guy that had a certain period of time of excellence, but he could not maintain it. He had the potential. 1,900 hits. He could have been close to 3,000 if he had had a solid 20-year career, but he couldn't do it. So isn't that interesting about baseball players of the past? Some have the talent and some have the endurance to make it through in baseball. Other players have the talents, but they cannot endure it. That's why I looked at Jack Tobin just to see a what if situation as far as this guy. All right, we're done with him. Who's next? I want to keep looking at players 300 or better career batting average. I've got the list here in front of me, Baseball Reference. All those guys in the past. Now I've covered 111, 300 or better career. 111. Now I'm going to keep going because there's a lot of guys on this list. Who's next? I could pick a lot of guys. I like looking at maybe guys who nobody's heard of. I like doing that. Have you heard of this guy? Old school. 1890s. How about for the fun of it? Let's look at this guy. His name is Bug Holiday. Now, is Bug his real name? No. His full name is James Holiday. But he had a nickname, Bug Holiday. Have you heard of this guy? I haven't. But this guy accomplished something in 10 years. He just played 10 years. You know what he did? 1,100 hits in 10 years. But listen to this. If you dive deeper in it, his resume says 10 years. But if you dive deeper, 930 games. But they're not full seasons. He had 4 seasons under 100 games. So we can say about 6.5, 7 seasons, 1,100 hits. What I want to do in the next video is get into Bug Holiday and see what was his projection of hits for his career. If you multiply 7 times 2, that's 14. He would have had 2,200 hits because he had 1,100 hits in 7 years. So in 14 years, he would have had 2,200 hits. Did you know that if you multiply it again and make it 21-year career, he would have been over 3,000 hits. So here's another guy that had potential. Let's look at Bug Holiday next, just for the fun of it, and we'll be quick. I'm out.